Hey everyone, this is the show where I help high-achieving women push their limits, dominate their mindset, and take action towards their goals. It's about to get real, so buckle up, embrace for impact. My name is Ashleigh Mayfield, and I am the high-achieving woman. Oh my God. Okay. So first of all, it feels really good to say that. Haven't been around for about 6 months. Hi. How are you, bestie? Welcome back. It's so good to be with you again. I mean that with my whole heart. I've been really excited for the last 6 weeks to start just recording and bringing something different, bringing something new. No longer video, no longer YouTube, just literally sitting here looking like a bum on a Monday recording this. So welcome back. I really want to take this first episode and just talk about it's time for a fresh start. You know, I knew that last year was such a pivotal year for so many of us. And there's so much negativity that comes around 2021. I feel like whenever I talk to people, and I can definitely throw my hat in the ring, it was like the first year in 5 years of business and success and growth where I kind of felt like I went 2 steps forward, 10 steps back, but we all know that stuff matters too, right? We can't just be winning all the time. That's not reality. That's not growth. So I really just want to take this first episode and kind of peel back the layer of the new podcast name, The High Achieving Woman. I love it. It's just a fire in my veins. So let's kind of dive in. This podcast is about helping you become the best version of you. This podcast is for women who want more, desire more, crave more. Women who wish their life was different. Women who want to go to the next level, but don't freaking know how. This is not one specific business. I'm not going to put you in a box, so you are not going to put me in a box, okay? Whether your online business, your corporate America, shoot, you could be working in a freaking church. I don't care. You can benefit from this, okay? So this podcast, the High Achieving Woman podcast, it is your mentor. It is going to call you higher. It's going to challenge you. It's going to give you the tools that you need to succeed. And I kind of had to sit back and think about 3 reasons why I really knew that I just needed a revamp. Other than I know that I changed. Last year really changed my heart. It changed my mindset. But first off, I want to mentor women who don't have mentors. I am not even joking you when I say my inbox stays flooded with people who are asking me questions about mindset, questions about growth, leadership, chasing after success, breaking generational curses, creating new habits. There are so many women out there who are looking for more, but they don't have someone to lead them. And, I do have resources that you can invest in to have my time, but maybe you can't afford that. And so this podcast is a phenomenal go-to. You make sure you subscribe, make sure you save episodes, all of that jazz. And if you know someone that needs a kick in the rear, this is also for them. So this is a mentor for you. Second thing is I really do want to inspire people, but I want to talk about the reality of what it means to go top tier level in your life, which is always evolving, right? It's always evolving. It's always shifting. You've got to be flexible. You've got to be agile when you're chasing after success. But this is going to be a space where we talk about the reality of stuff. There's no fluffy, butterflies, rainbows. The world is amazing. You're always a winner. Like that. If you're looking for that, this is not for you. We're going to talk about the reality. I'm going to light the fire in your butt. I always say, don't call me when you need a hug. When your back's against the wall, I should be the first person you call. So that is what this is going to do. It's going to serve you in that capacity. And then third, I really just have a passion for motivating people and helping people. I love seeing women when that light bulb moment comes on, when they click into their confidence, when they step into their power, helping them believe that they can. So, if you find any value moving forward, just like with my old podcast, I'm going to ask that you pay the fee. Share this episode on your social media, tag a few people, tag me. I always love to know who's listening. And if you're new here, welcome. It's a new name. It's the same boom. I am going to be real with you. I am like 90% unfiltered. I do have a small percent that I got to be mindful of what I say. But we're going to tell you exactly what you need to hear. And that's why I'm different. I do the work that I talk about. I walk the walk. I talk the talk. I'm not just some motivational person that wants the rah-rah. I truly believe with intent, any woman can tap into their high achieving woman. Now, I've really honed in on the high achieving woman for a while now, and that's why I wanted to change the name of the podcast. It's kind of a crazy story of over the last 5 years, me discovering her within, and now I want to share it for the world. I haven't recorded a podcast in the last 6 months. Most of you know, last summer, me and my husband both got COVID. I recovered like miraculously in 48 hours, but my husband did not have that story. He developed a cough that we didn't really monitor as well as we should because we didn't know. And he unfortunately was hospitalized for almost 10 days. There was a 24-hour period where it was very scary. Many of you are following that journey. But my husband's the one that helps me do all this podcasting. And so I really took a break and step back. Like, praise God, my husband's fine. Let me finish the story. He's fine. It really brought a halt to things. And honestly, I really haven't wanted to get back into the swing of things. 2021 was such an interesting year, to say the least. But since I am back in the swing of things, I want you to pause this and go leave a 5-star review. If you're excited, if you find value today, leave a 5-star review. Make sure you share it in your Instagram stories. Tag me. I'm going to be doing a drawing for the first few episodes. I'll be Venmoing people $25. I'm only using Venmo, so if you don't have that, I don't know what to tell you. You can't win, I guess. So let me get back on track. Let me kind of fill you in with some behind the scenes stuff and why the name change. The name change is a part of me. It is a part of Ashleigh Mayfield. And many of you know that I have been really successful in an online business in the last 4 years, or 5 years, which has been amazing. I love it. But there's been another part of me that evolved last year. And this podcast is to take a step back and let you realize that there's a broader scale that I'm going to be impacting. So let's backtrack even before 2021. We all know 2020 was a weird year. COVID started, and that was my 4th year in an online business. And of course, once COVID hit, there was a surge in online activity, which was amazing. Business boomed. And that summer, my life coach, I was talking to my life coach. Yes, I have a life coach. Okay. I need people to keep me sane. I have to invest in people. You guys pay for someone to help you deal with your crap. Okay. I'm sure I've said that in so many previous episodes, but pay for someone to deal with your crap. You will not be disappointed. I promise you. But I have mentors that help me stay moving, hold me accountable, keep my brain ticking, the whole 9. Okay. And so my life coach really urged me in the summer of 2020 that she could see more on the inside of me. And at that time, I couldn't see it. And praise God for someone who, can look within and see your capacity far before you can. And you can borrow their belief. Right. But at that point, summer of 2020, I was feeling very overwhelmed. I was juggling so much. I was feeling this self-induced pressure of holding my world together. And I'm sure many of you felt the same thing, right? We watched the world fall apart, and here we are, trying to hold our worlds together with glue and toothpicks. And honestly, I couldn't even entertain the vision that she was casting over me and trying to pull out of me. It's not that I didn't trust her. We've worked together, gosh, at this point, in a few months, it'll be 3 years. Like, she knows me. She knows my caliber, right? But she spoke this vision over me. And honestly, I just kind of shrugged it off, right? How many of us have ever done that? How many of us have, we've had someone in our lives who saw a capacity on the inside of us, and we were just kind of like, oh, you're just saying that because you have to, right? So I just kind of shrugged it off. And, sometimes what I will say in online businesses where you are a part of something, there's this stigma that you have to be all or nothing. Like you can only do one thing and like you have to choose. Now, I'm not saying when you're starting out in business that you should be a part of multiple things. That would be ignorance. People are, millionaires have 7 different streams of income. Yeah, you're taking the back end of the situation when you say that. Millionaires start with one stream of income that is extremely lucrative, that changes their life. And then once they scale that, then they branch off into other streams of income. Okay. And so where I was summer of 2020, I wasn't just starting out. I wasn't looking to dabble my hands in all of these things. I had climbed my mountains. I earned my trophies. I was established in an online business. And at this moment, this is when you have climbed your mountains and earned the trophies and you start looking beyond the vehicle that you're in, this is where people are going to consider that you are being disloyal. And I need you to hear my heart. That is extremely low level thinking. And I am not here for that. I mentor so many women who come to me in online businesses, and they come to me with a preface of, I'm not leaving. I'm here forever. And you will never hear me say that. You will never hear me say that I am attached to something forever outside of 3 things: Jesus Christ, my marriage, and my children. I'm not loyal to a brand. I'm not loyal to a business. I'm not loyal to a company. I am not loyal to a person. I am loyal to myself, my family, my creator. And as a high achieving woman, that's exactly who you should be loyal to as well. And I would urge you to sit back and ask yourself, how many times have you showed up in your business, your job, and or your career, and you thought, I'm here forever. I'm here forever. And you've had to preface conversations with, no, I'm not going anywhere, but, right? To me, it sounds like you're putting God in a box. Have you ever taken a step back and thought about that? Like, you are putting God in a box. I pray that in my life, if I think about where I am today, every decision that I've made, good, bad, ugly, truth, false, it has led me to who I am and to where I am. And so everything that I have in my life right now, again, with the exception of my creator, my husband, and my kids, it is a part of my story that is leading me somewhere greater. I pray that I grow out of situations. I pray that I grow beyond, any ceiling that's put in front of me. And I'm not going to put God in a box, and I'm not doing that to me, and you do not need to do that to you either. So back to the story. So summer of 2020, I dismissed this idea that my life coach put before me. And fast forward to Q4 of 2020. And some of you guys have heard me talk about the part of my story. I started going through a dry spell. And it was such a crazy year. There was a lot of demands on me. And honestly, I felt like I was going numb. Q4 of 2020, here I am. It's supposed to be exciting. Business is supposed to be good. And I don't know. I felt like I was going numb. I sacrificed the people that were most important to me because of uncertainty, because of the unknown, because of the fear. I was not making sound decisions. I was not making irrational decisions, but I wasn't. I mean, let's all be honest. 2020, like I said, we were just holding our lives together with glue and toothpicks, And there were some specific things that I'm not going to go into at that time, but I started getting frustrated with where I was in life, okay, and the decisions that I was making. And that's not on anybody but myself. And so I started getting frustrated. And the more frustrated I got, the more I entertained the idea of what my life coach was talking to me just 5-6 months prior. Now, this is where opposition, adversity, frustration, this is why, as the high achieving woman, your emotions are so freaking important, right? Because sometimes you never know. And this is why you've got to be careful saving people. You can't save everybody. Okay. You can't protect everybody. You can't, especially I think about like our kids. It's so easy for us to want to step into our kids and like their lives and make decisions for them, course correct them. I'm not saying don't be a parent, but what I am saying is sometimes kids have to make mistakes so they learn their own lessons, because when the lesson gets pulled out from you, it is going to be far more profound than an external voice speaking in. So let me back up. Summer of 2020, there was an external voice in my life speaking to me that I was not ready to receive. But God positioned me where I started getting so frustrated in my life that I started from within entertaining what my life coach spoke over me. Isn't that interesting? How many of us are trying to avoid all the hard feelings? Anytime life gets hard, business gets hard, relationships get hard, growth gets hard, we want to stop because it's uncomfortable. And that phrase, success is on the other side of your comfort zone, it rings true every freaking time. It's just that every time you get to level 4 and you see what level 5 requires, you get so uncomfortable that you stop. And every freaking time you do that, you go back to level 1. Okay. So here I am, Q4 2020, and I am like entertaining this idea of more in my life every freaking day. Okay. Like I'm asking myself, what if my purpose and my value were more than my current reality? And I started getting quiet. Honestly, I started listening more. I started praying more. I started planning. Honestly, I just started receiving. It wasn't, God, how do you want to use me, and what are my gifts, and it's God, what do you want to give me? Where do you want to take me? What do you want to do on the inside of me? Crazy enough, during that same time, and it's crazy when you start opening your eyes and looking through a different lens, and instead of fighting your gifts, like you actually try to embrace them, like you start seeing things that you weren't ready for. But that they're there now. So at that same time, so here I am, Q4, frustrated, starting to receive this idea that my life coach was talking to me about. At that exact same time, I found a total stranger online who showed me what I was missing out on. Now, that same story is what happened to me 5 years ago that even got me an online business, okay? And what do they say? Like, history repeats itself. So here I am again. And I started stalking this girl. And this was probably like October, November of 2020. I started stalking this girl, and she was helping women build online businesses. She was taking women from an idea and helping them build a 6-figure business. Now, what she was doing, I literally have no interest in, okay? So like sift through the poop and keep the corn here, okay? I have no interest in doing that, but it was how she was doing it that caught my eye. She was doing mentorships. She was doing courses. She was really empowering women. And these are things that I naturally do for the women that are in my online business, right? But it immediately hit me deep in my gut, because I knew I started asking myself, how can I take this to the next level? And the reality is, for years, guys, I've had women outside of my online business message me, ask advice, want tips, want to be led, and I never acted on it because I don't know. I never really thought about it. And as I have gotten more and more self-aware over the last few years, one thing is tried and true with me that I know about myself, just having self-awareness. If you want me to take action, you have to show me what I'm missing out on. Period. I can be so quick to shut something down, like most of us, and tell ourselves what we can't do, who we're not, what giftings we don't have, why we're not enough. And I am no different than you. Okay. I do the exact same thing, but I'm telling you, I know myself, and praise God, Jesus knows me. And anytime he wants me to move, he's always positioned where I've seen what I've been missing out on. So this stranger I found online, October, November of 2020, I stalked her for about 6 months. I swear history repeats itself. I stalked her for about 6 months until I hired her to be my business coach. And last year I did something that made me feel so freaking alive. And I launched my brand. I launched the High Achievers Bootcamp, which is an 8-week course that helps women take action to becoming the best versions of themselves. I poured my heart out into it, and I assure you, I haven't felt that scared since the first day I joined my online business 5 years ago. I am talking throughout this process of hiring this business coach and launching. I had full on body shakes. I had an insane amount of doubt, tears. But one thing I learned in the last 5 years, and this is why I did not stop myself, is that I have learned how to trust my process and how to trust myself. I have a proven track record. And I am telling you ladies right now, that was the only thing that I was holding on to the beginning of last year when I was walking through this, okay? So I launched the High Achievers Bootcamp, and I'm so freaking proud of myself. It was such an amazing launch. I had over 70 women apply over a 3-week period. And I did this boot camp twice. Not everybody got in. I capped it off at like 9 or 10 people, which hindsight, I don't even know if that was smart, but that's what I did. And I earned over $25,000 with 2 different launches last year. And hindsight, I had no idea what I was doing. I took a leap of faith based off of someone else's belief in me, off the reality of the demand that I was experiencing. And I stepped into the unknown. And it was hard. It was scary. There was a lot happening behind the scenes for reasons that I can't say to you. But I did it. And as this has evolved, my husband was like, hey, like, you're really pushing this high achieving woman. And so if you've noticed, my verbiage has really shifted over the last year. And he's like, you're really pushing this. What would you think about changing your podcast from Fireball with Ashleigh Mayfield to the High Achieving Woman? And immediately, like, my soul set on fire. It took me a couple days to like process it, but I was like, why would I not? Like, that just makes sense. And to me, the high achieving woman is the woman who wants to do the work. If you are not ready, sister, I am not for you. I will make you uncomfortable. And in fact, what's really funny is in 2021, God purged my life of people who just, we weren't going in the same direction, but some of the people that God purged, it was because my gift, they weren't ready for my gift. They weren't ready for me to call them higher. And so God removed them from my life. But the high achieving woman in my mind, she's ready to do the work. She might not know how. She might not know what it's going to look like, but she's so freaking sick of being where she's at. She's the woman who wants more, the woman who will rise against the odds, the woman who is ready to take control of her life. She's the woman that is willing to fight, willing to change. She's willing to take ownership of her life. She realizes in the dead of the night, the only true battle is the one within. It's always been her mind, her doubt, her fear, her past experiences, her setbacks, her failures. It's literally the battle within. And I show up daily, not only fighting my fight, but I see so many women as I look around who are living on freaking autopilot, who are so desperate to escape, do the work, but they don't have a path. They don't have someone that's leading them. And like I said, maybe you can't invest in my programs yet, but this podcast, it will be your go-to to becoming the high achieving woman, the best version of you, the you that you're proud of, the you that faces fear head on, the you that calls yourself higher, the you that looks in the mirror and you're proud of what you see. You're proud of what you see. So before we wrap this up, I want to give you 3 characteristics that I believe the high achieving woman needs to possess. And so take a pen and piece of paper, write this down. My God, stop listening to stuff without taking notes. Like, come on. If you're anything like me, your brain's not going to retain anything after 24 hours. Some of y'all don't even remember what you ate for lunch 3 days ago. Okay. Show up to growth intentional. Okay. And so obviously don't take notes if you're driving the car. What are you thinking? All right. 3 things. So number 1, the high achieving woman knows herself. Do you know yourself? It's a clear cut yes or no answer. Do you know yourself? Do you trust yourself? Do you love yourself? Okay. Everybody wants the dream, but they don't want to know themselves. I have found over the last 5 years of what people would look at my life and deem successful, that you have to take inventory of who you are. I'm talking mentally, emotionally, psychologically, physically, spiritually. You need to freaking know you. You have to figure out what works, what doesn't, what your limitations are, what your improvements are. You cannot change your life until you understand your life. To me, in my biased opinion, because it's my freaking show, self-awareness is the key if not the number one quality of a high achiever, of a leader. You have to know who you are. You have to know where you come from. What do you like? What do you not like? You have to be able to articulate this. And so many women don't. And honest to God, it pisses me off. It's insulting. We all say these dreams that we want, but we don't know ourselves. So we can't go from here to there. We can't connect the dots. The high achieving woman knows herself. And that's a process. You're never arrived. I am not arrived. I come to you ladies from the valley. Okay. I do not come from the mountaintop. I never want to come from the mountaintop. I've seen some mountaintops, but I come to you from the valley because I'm still peeling back the layers of myself too. You're always going to be evolving. Okay. But you need to know what matters to you, what drives you, what turns you on, what motivates you. You need to know your temperament and your desires. And too many of you listening to this, you don't know who you are. We're programmed as women to wear all these hats and to be the jack of all trades, but master of none. But I am calling you to be the master of one, to be the master of you. And you don't know what you don't know, and you can't fix what you don't know is broken. Right? The idea behind true understanding of who you are, is really to allow you to play at your best. It makes sense if I was a coach and I was building a sports team that I would put people in the positions based on their strengths, right? Based on their skills, their talents, and their gifts. The same is true with ourselves. We have so many different variations of us as high achieving women. We are multi-layered, multifaceted. And it's so imperative that we know ourselves. So as we go throughout life, we know who we need to be when. Right? We know how we need to show up. There are some situations, there are some events, there are some moments in my life where I have to show up more empathetic than aggressive. Right? But both of those people are me. I am both of those. But I can't just walk around saying, oh, well, this is who I am. That's crap. Right? So the high achieving woman knows herself. The high achieving woman, number 2, also knows her priorities. When you know who you are and what you want, you're able to live your life accordingly. There are so many women who are just floating in the freaking wind because they won't take the time to understand themselves. And the number one excuse that I find to life change that I hear from women is I don't have time. And I literally, anytime if you've ever said that, I want to respond to you with no freaking crap, you don't have time. You don't know what you want. You say yes to everybody, and you are paying for the decisions that you made 3 months ago, physically, mentally, emotionally, relationally. You are walking you are walking the byproduct, the consequence, positive or negative, of decisions you made over the last 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. If you cannot learn to know your priorities, if you can't learn to control your time, to control your mindset, you will be screwed. You won't change. You will literally be on the merry-go-round of your life, stuck in the same house, the same car, the same pay, and that is your choice. That is a choice. The high achieving woman knows her priorities. She knows that it isn't selfish to take care of yourself. She releases the idea that chasing after success is greedy or an illusion. I want you to know from listening, success is your freaking obligation. Whatever that looks like, whatever you're called to, fulfilling the calling on your life that God has placed should be your number one priority. And the high achieving woman knows and desires to step into that space and live large. She welcomes challenges. She welcomes opposition and adversity because she knows it's only going to make her better. She knows it's going to continue to shift her into her priorities so she can be the best version of herself. And then last, but certainly, obviously not least, the high achieving woman knows it's not all about her. One of my favorite phrases from 2021 that I repeated over and over and over is, if you're in your head, you're dead. And some of y'all got to tattoo that to your forehead, okay? So many times we play small and we hold ourselves back because we forget who we are fighting for. We think it's just about us. We think everybody hates us. Nobody cares. We have no value. And so when we don't want to show up, it's easy for us to do that because we're only thinking about ourselves because we're in our freaking head. This is not about us. This is not about you. Sure, it's nice to get recognition. I'm driven by that. I'm driven by recognition, growth, development, advancement, being in the spotlight, getting the new car, the shiny things. But our gifts are not just for us. They're for others. When you acknowledge and comprehend that this isn't about you, the successes and the failures, oh, sis, you truly step into your power. You truly step into your power. Every time I get choked up, every time I want to walk away, I'm freaking reminded who I'm doing this for. I'm reminded that I'm doing this for me, but I'm also doing this for my husband, for my daughters, but mostly I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this for the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people that I impact on social media. I'm doing this for down the road. I see millions of women following me and asking questions and buying my courses and being a part of who I am, and I play a pivotal role in their life. I have an obligation. I have a responsibility as a high achieving woman. I know this isn't just about me. How could I not? How could I not show up? How could I face fear and run in the other direction? This is not about me. And sis, it's not about you. And every time you get choked up and want to walk away, every time you play small, every time you think no one's paying attention, you're in your head and you're dead. If I can't run, neither can you. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. I am so excited for what is to come. Make sure you're subscribed, all that jazz. Tag me, leave the 5-star review if you find any value. $25, Venmo in the next week. This is going to be your absolute go-to leadership, self-awareness, mindset, belief, confidence, all things growth. So as always, buckle up, brace for impact, baby. I can't wait to grow with you.